Good evening, all. Ira Epstein with your metal market wrap-up, and this wrap-up is for the evening, and we're now on Thursday, and this is the 26th of October, 2023, 7-11. Lucky number. I played the lottery. Maybe that's going to get me luck tonight. 7-11. Whoa. What has not been lucky is trying to trade these markets because they are violent. That's the only word that I could use. I predicted properly that October was going to be one hellacious month because the volatility is normally off the wall, and it is. The downs, the ups, where you're at, the stock market traders probably ripping their hair out. Every time they turn around, it's a 100-point move. In the NASDAQ, 80 points as we go back and forth in the Dow. And that's what's going on in these markets. Now, in the gold market, I have found it too hard to be long futures against the 2000 level. I'm finding it easier to hold on to the ETF trades, the GLD there. You know, you go where you're comfortable, and I'm comfortable there. I want to be long gold, but every time I'm turning around, it's a $500 to $1,000 move up or down, and that gets a little rough. For the week, we are up 0.25%. So the war in Israel has really not damaged the gold in one way or the other. It didn't make it advance much, and it hasn't broken it. When we look at the action, we've now gone sideways because the action there is sideways. We get an incursion out of Israel into Gaza, but nothing really in the way of a land move. We see the sieges going on. The people are miserable in Palestine, and they should be. It's terrible. You don't have food, you don't have water, you don't have medicine, and you don't have fuel. Now, we keep hearing that the fuel's going to run out, the hospitals will close, the UNICEF and everything will close down too. Okay. Will that force the people to tell Hamas, get out of this area, leave us alone so we can get that? That's probably part of Israel's game, one way or the other. If they don't do it, they won't get anything. If they do it, the world pressure will be on Israel then in those areas to give those people what they need. You can't tell me they're getting what they need if they, as of this morning, only had 74 total trucks that have come in. They need 100 a day, not 74 total in almost a week. Higher lows, higher highs. You can see how the market's just sort of sitting here right now. And the reason it's doing it, the reason that I'm uncomfortable in this is you're over the 200-day average in the 18. This is the first challenge. You rarely make big moves if that's it. But rarely do I have a country trying to invade Gaza and wipe out a whole event, a whole organization, okay? And they're there. 300,000 of them are there. So it changes the specter, and I get that. Could we be going to the 2050 area? Well, when the invasion happens, it wouldn't surprise me. Because if you involve then the other characters, Syria, Iraq, or wherever these other groups are that Iran supports, and they start firing the missiles, away you go. Should you be nervous? Yeah. Soldiers out of the old Fort Bragg, I think it's Fort Liberty now, they had thousands of them ready to go. They've sent a big contingent. They didn't tell us. They're on their way right now into the Mideast. So the U.S. is beefing things up. You know that Blinken has said, our Secretary of State, that if the U.S. is fired upon by those groups, the U.S. will defend itself and do whatever. Well, so far, I think there's been 20 attacks on us as he's saying this, and we haven't done a darn thing. So maybe this is how it is. But I'm going to repeat. You open that can up, and I don't know all the worms that are in there and what's going to happen. So this is a dangerous situation, and it's the reason I don't want to be short gold, that's for darn sure. If it's going to go on this type of event, away you go. And this doesn't have to be stuck with Israel and Gaza. The U.S. can be involved in this right away, and then who knows what else gets involved. You have an embedded reading. Until that's lost, I am playing out in the bull camp. Is that clear enough for everybody? In the silver market, gold ratio, it is staying over the 85 level. Enough that this means gold is stronger than silver. And you see that right here. Don't try to make silver act as gold should act in a time of war. I've seen people do this my whole career, and it's not right. One time it worked. And it worked when the Hunt brothers squeezed the silver market and took it to $50 an ounce. And I knew people in the pit that had made fortunes on this trade. I also knew people in the pit that lost everything they had because they didn't think it would go down the way that it did. It goes both ways. In the copper market, why? Why get involved? There's nothing there. So if you were sitting next to me and say, what do I do in copper? Nothing. You're caught in the narrow Bollinger Bands and you're stuck. And if you don't see that, okay, I guess you can make your gamble. But which side do you go? Do you go the whole world economy slowing down, the stock markets are breaking down, and copper should fall? Do you go that China's going to do something very powerful to get their economy going out of this party Congress that's going on now, and that's going to lift the copper? Which one of the bets are you making? In the platinum market, no, today was out. You hit the Bollinger Band for the first time. You're not embedded. It's exactly what I teach in my course. Now, my course wouldn't have said to even be long. You have a lower low, higher high. But when you get up there, if you are long, it's a pretty good bet to be coming out of that. Why is platinum up, by the way? We can come there. Because you got your strike over at Ford, to back in at work. GM met today, Mary Barra. She met with Mr. Fine, maybe, and they were hours, according to the press, in the meeting. They're going to all get together and run their deal, and that means there's going to be demand for these products. Not today, but these are futures markets. They don't wait for the order to come in. They start moving ahead of time. And on the dollar index, the roller coaster of a lifetime. Hits the bands, goes back to neutral, hangs there, drops to the lower band. That's not good enough, and now you go to the upper band. I wish you the best trying to catch those trades because I don't know how. I'm sure you do. I don't. And I would tell people, I don't think you can. And that's what I do in my morning updates. I talk reality, what I'm seeing in the market, not make-believe. I talk it for real money, ways to go with it, and that's the whole idea. It's about trading ideas. And on those trading ideas, how I work it is pretty darn simple. I look at the trading ideas and I say, okay, you've got this type of trade based on these patterns. It's either with what we call a locked-in trade off momentum or not, and away you go. So we start off looking at charts in the morning. Sometimes they're daily, sometimes they're weekly, sometimes I mix them together. Then I'm showing you, hey, here's what the analysis is saying. Here's the long, here's the short. We will cover in the futures, 40 futures charts in the morning. About 2 hours later, we're going to cover 40 ETFs. I want the ETFs to open when I cover them. So I give them the first half hour of trade so they're able to bring in all the overnight trade because you have aftermarket trades that got to be absorbed, things of that nature. How do you get this? It's pretty simple. You go to our website. On the website, you just go under the word research. You go up here. The price of it, it's about the price of a cup of coffee, nice cappuccino at Starbucks. And you get it for 30 days, get to see it. There's going to be 24 videos a month approximately, each 15 minutes long. It'll stay with you a lot longer than that cappuccino, which within hours is probably leaving your system one way or the other. In any case, I'm Ira Epstein. You have yourself a good day, and I'll see you in the morning.